Hi church family, I hope this video finds you happy, healthy, and staying encouraged. When I was asked to share my testimony, I struggled greatly with what parts of my life I felt safe sharing. What could be more vulnerable than to share my most painful and transformative memories, the very things that make me, me. So I wrestled because it's hard for me to open up in that way. But I knew that I needed to be obedient to the Lord, and so here I am. When I look back at my journey, it's easy to speak of the valleys and trials, but that's not all that I want you to hear. To look back is to acknowledge how His mighty hand has been at work and carried me through every challenge. My name is Jen Wiebe. I'm happily married and have two beautiful children, Peyton and Noah. I was born in Winkler, Manitoba, but grew up in a small town in Telephone, Texas. I'm the youngest of 5 children. 2 of my siblings and their families still live in Texas, and the other 2 live here in Canada. My mother always modeled for me unimaginable strength combined with a quiet and gentle spirit. My father walked through more storms than any one person ever should, and I'm so proud of the work he has accomplished. We did not always have an easy life. Alcohol and drug addictions plagued our home and wreaked havoc on our lives. And there were many long periods of time that I lived in a single-parent home while one parent was incarcerated. My older siblings were mostly a steady rock in my life, and I relied heavily on their presence and input. Even at a young age, my soul yearned for something greater than myself and the life that I had. We did attend church when we could, and I'm so thankful for the foundation that was started. We mostly attended Mennonite churches, and that was what I became accustomed to. I can't recall being taught about the need for a relationship with God or having an understanding of how grace worked. I do mostly remember, though, feeling like I would never be able to maintain the requirements of God. I never quite felt perfect enough for God. Eventually, 2 of my siblings joined a new non-denominational church, and I experienced teaching and worship in ways I had never seen before. It was intriguing to me, and I longed to be happy like these people were. Their transition into this church had a significant impact on my view of Christianity. A connection between my outward dress and appearance and the attainment of salvation was made. I was told God and salvation could only be found there with them. It was devastating to have the family that I looked up to and admired so much tell me I was going to go to hell unless I joined them. I remember trying so hard to be good. I thought maybe they were wrong. Maybe if I was just good enough, I would still make it to heaven. And then I would fail and feel like God couldn't possibly want me. I was too bad. I didn't understand grace or forgiveness, and over time, I just grew tired of trying. When I was 14, we unwillingly and without notice left our Texas home. I was forced to leave behind family, friends, and all that was familiar. Looking back now, I can see how God was lifting us up out of deep oppression and beginning to pull our family towards the light. But as a kid, I only saw instability in all that I was losing. It was during this time that I rebelled against my family and the Lord. I was consumed with anger and looked for any means to fill that void with the things of this world. Starting high school in a new country with no friends is no easy task, and made me an easy target for rumors and labels, which further fueled my anger. I felt utterly alone and isolated. The one person I did have was Orlando. We met shortly after my move, and we had an immediate connection. He became my source of joy, my only joy. That was a dangerous amount of pressure to put on another person. We loved each other tremendously, but his battle with alcohol and drugs often made our relationship volatile. I was willing to overlook the addictions, assuming they would fall away over time. We dated for several years, and those years took us through many hardships, the loss of family, and also a love unlike anything I had known before. In 2011, we were married, and we couldn't wait for a life of all our own. The addictions and grief I had hoped would disappear through the joy of a wedding and the birth of our daughter only intensified, and our relationship instead grew painful and strained. The good days were no longer carrying us through the bad. The laughter was replaced with silence, and my source of joy had none left to give. The Lord was stripping me of all the things I thought I needed to feel secure and happy so that He could prepare my heart and show me that only He could be those things for me. I began having very vivid nightmares about dying and going to hell. The loneliness and anxiety I was battling during the day were now following me into my sleep, and there was no place I could escape it. I would wake up and plead with God not to take my life. I knew I was living in bondage, but I was too scared to surrender or hand over control of my life. All I had ever known was that left in someone else's hands, I would be disappointed. This went on for several weeks, but finally in October of 2014, I committed my life to Him. Having seen that all this world had offered up to me was leaving me wanting, I turned to my Creator for a taste of living water. When the Word tells us that we have committed a great sin by digging our own cisterns, broken cisterns, that cannot hold water, I have lived that. I sought to find joy and love anywhere I could, but it was all broken. It could not give my soul what it was longing for. Growing in the Lord is a lifetime process, and he continues to reveal more of his love and mercy as he renews my mind and builds my character. His kingdom plan for me and for our family has always been at work, and I am thankful for how the hardships have brought me to this place of assurance, peace, and eternal joy. We serve an almighty Father, and he alone deserves all our glory. He's the founder of our salvation. He delivered me from the bondage of fear. He is a merciful and faithful high priest. His joy is above all other things in the universe. He will come a second time for those who are eagerly waiting for him. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. He longs to know you, and so I will leave you with this invitation to the Lord's salvation from Isaiah. Is anyone thirsty? Come and drink. Seek the Lord while he may be found. Call on him while he is near. Thank you.